Hello, Dan here, back with another video. And this will be my first attempt at trying to do a overview showing off a single book. This also is pretty cool because this was a request from a viewer who commented on my last video wanting to look more in depth at this book. And that viewer is none other than Mr. Darrell D. If anyone doesn't know Darrell D, he's a fellow YouTuber, has a great channel. Mostly reviews hip-hop and rap vinyl. He's a huge vinyl collector. He's got an amazing collection. He's a collector of a lot of things, and he also loves comics. And his artist is my favorite artist as well, Mr. Richard Corben. So I showed this book on the last video. It's called The House on the Borderland. It's a trade paperback put out by Vertigo. This was from the year 2000. It was available in this soft cover as well as a hardcover. And this is it's based on a novel by William Hope Hodgson, originally written in 1908. And this book was adapted by Richard Corben himself, as well as Simon Revelstoke. So they both collaborated on the adaptation of the novel. Of course, Richard Corben does the artwork. The coloring, which is great, is by Lee Lowridge, and the lettering is by my favorite letterer, Clem Robbins. And obviously you can kind of see what you're getting into from the front cover here. Hog beasts. Awesome. There's the back cover. Look at those beasts. Really cool. I was very lucky enough to find this book at my local comic shop, probably around, 2015 maybe. It's a hard book to find. I think these typically go for around $75 to $100 on eBay. And it's weird that I looked on these shelves so many times and never saw this book. I can't imagine it had been sitting there for 15 years before I bought it. I doubt they would have had a copy in the back and just randomly brought it out, but it was just there one day. I mean, maybe it came from, maybe somebody sold it and they put it on the new release shelf. It does have this sticker over the regular barcode, so that kind of made me think maybe it was a used copy, but it's in really good shape. So I'm going to try my best to go through this this book and give a basic synopsis of it and show some artwork without spoiling it. This won't really be as much of a review as just my personal pages I like and just some basic stuff about the story. So it's got a 4-page introduction at the front by Mr. Alan Moore, and this introduction, it's okay. It's not really about the comic at all. It's just about the original novel and comparing William Hope Hodgson to other writers of this era. Richard Corben famously did a lot of adaptations of Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft. So he likes that time period and he likes the macabre, dark stuff. So there is a framing sequence at the beginning and end of this comic that I don't believe was part of the original story. I could be wrong about that. And it starts out with this guy in this asylum, and he's got an issue with his hand there. So that is just what it is. But then this guy in the asylum flashes to this sequence where this guy is with his friend, and they're in Ireland, I believe. And they're just like college-age kids, freebooters and free spirits. Let's rape the world, or at least that village. And that's what they say. And then they go into this pub, and this guy looks pretty pissed off. It's just really random. Like, they come in, they want to get a beer, and he accidentally spills this guy's beer on him. And then, for no seeming reason, the guy's pissed off. For no seeming reason at all, he just jams a beer bottle right in this guy's eye, bok, and then smashes another mug over his face, and then they take off running. So, I mean, I don't know what these guys were expecting to happen doing that, but they run, and they are pursued by this motley crew until they come across these ruins. Galt. It says Galt, some kind of remnants of an old building or something. And then they come across this giant pit and what remains of the house on the Borderland. So there's the remnants of this old building in this giant ravine. And they go in there and discover this book. And he takes the book out. It's just buried in the earth. And he starts to read it. And this book is the account of Byron Galt, begun this year of our Lord's blood, 1816. So the rest of the story is Byron Galt's story, and it's all done through captions from this diary that he had. So now we are with Byron Galt, and they really only mention his name, I think, that time and one other time in the story, so it's very easy to forget his name. So he lives in this mansion right here with his sister Mary and their dog Pepper. And most of what this book is kind of really about is his dreams, his nightmares that he has. He's plagued with these nightmares of this immense shape that clouds over his home and his life, and he feels like it's something kind of coming from another reality. And here's a really good image of what that kind of would look like via Corben's adaptation. This giant crazy cloud that's just feasting on his home. So he's troubled with these dreams. He wakes up in some pool of sweat. And here's where the book gets awesome. So the next, I don't know, well, there's a couple pages before it happens, but there's about like a 20-page sequence that's just incredible, and I'm going to show most of that because it's really the part of the book that kicks the most ass to me. So he's just on this walk with his sister. Some really cool imagery of some of the architecture. There's weird hog statues in the building itself with glowing red eyes. So they come out to this this ravine that we showed earlier, but it looks more like this right now. Still looks pretty sketchy, but it's not destroyed. And he says, let's see, where is it? Something had happened down there. A blast of wind struck us. I could see nothing through the boil. And then a landslip occurs. So there's a landslide. Several more pieces of rock and shale were dislodged to fall through the trees with sullen splashes into the river 150 feet below. And then we both heard it. A squeal sounded from among the trees, half human, half pig. It was answered by a similar call from the bottom of the pit. So Pepper's freaking out. There was a landslide, and there is a... This is what I wanted to read right here. It says, away at the distant back, there was a steep ravine referred to as the pit by the peasantry. At its bottom ran a sluggish stream of subterranean origin and ending, so overhung with trees as to be scarcely visible from above. For no particular reason, save whim, we headed toward it. So that's how they headed off just randomly to go towards this pit. Landslide occurs. Pepper freaks out, and crazy noises start coming up from this ravine. And Pepper's running. They see some blood on the trees, and does not look like Pepper's blood. And the nightmare was made flesh. Dude, look at that. Wow. So these hog creatures come up from the ravine, and they are not happy. Something has awoken them, the landslide, I'm sure. And so they start to instantly battle these crazy pigs. And the next sequence is just an insane battle between these people and these pig creatures. So you can see Pepper going at it with them. You can see choking him out right there. Dude's got Mary's hair. Things are not good. They're fighting. And they're chasing them. And they chase them back to the house. And they're all trying to break in. And they go inside and they start to bar the doors. And they get their rifles out, ready to fuck some pigs up. These pigs are really trying to get in, and they start to blast them from up top on the roof. And then these pigs start to scale the walls. They're coming up, they're blasting them, fucking them up. And it's insane. I mean, I don't want to show every last thing, but it's just really, really good. So there's this big battle. They're up on the roof. The pigs keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And one of the things that's kind of sketchy here is that the pigs are very obviously going for Mary and trying to violate her. And eventually it appears as though they succeed. So that's where we're left after the battle. She's in not too good of shape. And then Byron passes out. So this is where the story really takes a turn, and I don't really want to spoil too much of what comes after this battle. But obviously he is still haunted by this looming creature from the clouds. And that's a really great image right there. It starts to become unclear, you know, how much of what he experiences is really waking life and what is a dream. But he's curious as to what's going on. They're very paranoid that the pigs are still around. So he goes to explore these cellars right here. And he goes down this, it's almost like he'd never been to this part of his building before, but part of his mansion. And there's this lid here, and he pries it up and pulls it up with this chain and discovers this crazy pit. And full of perplexity, I dropped a stone, but after a long wait, still heard no impact. So he drops a stone down there. It's basically like a bottomless pit. Right underneath the house on the Borderland is this pit to the place where the hog beasts came from. Don't know. But obviously Mary was damaged, bitten by these pigs. And so is she perhaps infected by them? Same thing with Pepper. He's got a bite on his leg right there. And she is flipping out because he's like, I kind of want to leave. This is scary. And she's like, we will never leave here. As long as we live, I will never leave this place. We shall be part of it when time itself has expired. So he goes exploring. He goes down into the ravine. He finds crazy corridors. He leaves candles to try to find his way back. And he gets caught up in the water. It's a really, really great image right there. And makes his way back. Crazy stuff happens with him and Mary. All the while plagued by this, who knows, that dude, bad dude. So his life is in anguish, and these images start becoming more and more grotesque and hideous to him. That is definitely one of the best pages in the book right there. Extremely cool. I love this coloring. It's for the most part all flat color. It's not really modeled, and I won't show these pages. They're just so good. You got to get this book. You got to leave something to the imagination. So time's passing and changes are occurring, and he's aging, and it's like, how much time has really passed? He's confronted with the beasts again, but it kind of flicks back and forth between him being in trouble and him being all right. And it's very cool. It's really, really cool. It's not a super long book. It's 86 pages. So as far as I know, this book has not been reprinted. It's from 2000. So anyways, we get to the end of this. I'm skipping a lot. We get to the end, and now we're back to the next part of the framing sequence with the kids out there at the remnants of the house. And sure enough, those guys are still hot on their trail. So these dudes find the kids, and they go to town on them, beating the shit out of them. And they get thrown down into the ravine, but they manage to grab hold of some branches and climb their way back up. And when they climb back up, there are some crazy things happening. And this isn't really spoiling the story, because the story is really all the stuff that happens with the main characters in the past, in the 1800s. I'm imagining this is in the early 1900s when the book was written. Then again, maybe this wasn't part of the original novel. I'm not 100% sure. So there's some awesome stuff that happens with these kids in their confrontation, and eventually we end up with this guy looking worse for the wear. He is now sort of where our main protagonist has found himself in this half dream, half living kind of existence. And he's discovering more and more things that are very much mirroring the original story. And you could see, another panel that shows sort of his descent into madness here. And one of my favorite images, actually, this is, not super typical Corben. I don't know what that reminds me of, but that's really great. Love that white. And yeah, he's not doing good. And we will have one last nice shot of the house at the end. Beautiful. So this is an absolutely incredible book. It's got a nice bio of Revelstoke and Corben at the back. Revelstoke also collaborated on the Bodyssey and then the volumes of Den, Dreams, and Elements. And he also did write some stories that Corben illustrated for Heartthrobs, Weird War Tales, and Gangland, which were Vertigo anthologies that Corben contributed to around the same time period. Just one little page of some black and white art at the back there. So definitely a highly recommended book. It's not easy to get, and with the current reprints of all this Corben stuff, it would be cool if it came out, but DC, what are you gonna do? Dark Horse can't get the DC rights. So will this book languish in rarity forever, or is the recent Corben books going to help bring some of these other publishers to start to return some of these things to print? So that's it for my review, and I will be back for another video very soon, because Mr. Darrell D, who requested this video be done, was nice enough to send me an awesome package here. So I've got an unboxing to do from Mr. Darrell D, and if you guys haven't checked out his channel, definitely give it a look. And thanks for watching.